Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. The New Mutants, number 34 from 1985. This concludes the um, the story arc with that had Karma return, and we're gonna reveal um, who the real villain is. And it's not Karma. So we've got this cover. The Mutants' Last Hope Magic, the teammate who betrayed them all. So here we have Karma, we have Warlock, and of course we have Illyana with the New Mutants and Storm behind her. So with a little bit of luck starting the New Mutants. Traitor, says Warlock, you lied to self. You are as evil as Karma, and you will share her fate. And Illyana says, Warlock, let me explain. So Chris Claremont is the writer, and Steve Aloha is the artist, doing his very best Bill Sienkiewicz impersonation. So, all right. And Warlock says it's too late for that, and of course, she thinks he's really angry. What did Sim say to him while I was on Earth? It's a good thing that dumb demon's already unconscious, or I'd have KO him myself, the bozo. I don't want to hurt Warlock, she thinks. I sure wish he felt the same way. And so these demons come in. Boss is in trouble, and she's like, no, stay out of it. I can handle it. And this one's like, save the boss, slay her foe. And so they're going to attack Warlock, and of course, Warlock is going to use his power and basically convert them into that techno thing that he can basically eat them. And so Magic says, that what you plan for me, chum? Guess again. You're Limbo, remember? My domain, Warlock, where my magic is law. I can do anything here. My will becomes reality. And she takes out her soul sword. And she decides and changes to like an innocent girl. And she says, I could probably slay you, Locke, but that's not what I want. And Warlock says, oh, no, sorry. Illyana continues, you're my friend. Whether or not you believe it, I won't fight you. The last thing I want in the world is to hurt one of the mutants. And Warlock's like, liar. You betrayed self-friends to Karma. And Illyana says, I had my reasons. I have a plan. With your help, I think I can save them and put the blimp out of business for good. And Warlock says, why should self trust Illyana, one's friend? And Illyana says, not a reason in the world. And he says, a deceiver would say anything to save its life. And Illyana says, I don't know how to convince you, Locke. So if you want my life, take it. Do what you like. I won't even try to stop you. And so he's like, I can. And though he's like, I'm such a failure. This is why my dad wants to kill me. And Illyana kind of helps him up here. He's like, Warlock, listen to me, Buster. You are not a coward. You are as brave and noble and true blue as any of the mutants or the X-Men. And I mean to give you a chance to prove it, Warlock. And then she's like, punk out on me, and you really will be all those bad things you are. The others need you. I'm counting on you. You're their last hope. And he says, truth. Hey, would I lie? And then he says, self was wrong. And Illyana is not a once friend. Of course not, silly. And then, of course, he goes, yay. And then she sighs. So, before we make any moves, let's use the scrying pool to see what's cooking at Karma's. And so they find her here. And of course, she has the New Mutants and Storm assembled with her here, and the crowd of the club here. And Karma says, shall we find someone to play with, Ororo? And she says, yes, mistress. A body to humiliate, a soul to savage. Yes, mistress. Such a dutiful slave. You know what I like. a victim as pure as yourself. And then as she's walking, she's like, no, this is wrong. This is evil. I will be no party to it. Goddess, give me strength. I shall be free, says Storm. And Karma says, no, you shan't. Save for your accursed mentor, Charles Xavier. Yours is the strongest will I have ever encountered, but my hooks are sunk too deep in you, Wind Rider. Try as you might, you will not win. And Warlock is, she can, she must. Illyana, isn't there some way we can help? And she says, no. And the reason being, I'm not gonna read all that, but she has a plan, and so she has to wait. They only have one chance, and so she needs to wait for that. And so Storm crawls back to her and says, "See, I told you so," says Karma. "Now show these dear people how much you love me." And some are disgusted, but look at this one. "Oh, please, please, me next." All right, so. And so up here, Karma talks a little bit about the club, and you see the effort is costing her. She's really sweating here. And so grabs Storm and says, "A magnificent effort, Wind Rider. You nearly bested him. Rest assured, you'll not be allowed a second such opportunity. You know the truth, don't you? My true identity and origin, that I'm not Karma at all, but Charles Xavier's oldest, bitterest, deadliest foes." And so she smacks Storm. "Little good that knowledge has done for you. It will do him even less. You and these children shall be the instruments of my long yearned for vengeance." So the victory Xavier won so many years ago in Cairo will be rendered hollow, and all he values and holds most dear shall be reduced to ashes. As I suffered, so shall he. And so she possesses Storm once again, and "Does this please you, Ororo? Is this not in fact your heart's desire?" And she's like, "Yes, oh yes, yes," and then she laughs. And so we are going to get exposition here as to, we're finally going to reveal who it is here. So we see Storm back as a child and bumping into Xavier, trying to rob from him, but of course he uses his psychic abilities, goes into this club, and of course at this time Illyana is watching with Warlock, and so they remember she can travel in time here, and so Xavier sits, and of course we see Amal Farouk, and that is who has possessed Karma. And so if you remember, oh my goodness gracious, you'll have to forgive me because I am drawing a blank, but I have covered this issue of X-Men where this happened here. And it seems that Farouk was killed in that duel, but it turns out that he was not. And now she knows that they magic gives us the information here. I'm just not gonna read all this. That's a lot of freaking words here. That Farouk probably didn't die, and so that is probably who has Karma. So they hatch out a plan, and they are about to put it into act. So here we go. Now we're back at the club here. It won't be long, my dear. It won't be long now, my dear darling Ororo, before your old life, with all its beliefs, its loyalties, and virtues, will be cast into oblivion to be replaced by a better one. Mine. Isn't that wonderful? And Storm says, "I can hardly wait. You are the strongest, most stubborn of my toys. Your spirit must therefore be tamed. You honor me, Karma. Very soon, pet, you'll say that of your own free will." But now she's restrained because she's letting her go. And of course, Storm goes, "You should be dead and dust, Butcher. What cruel whim of fate spared you your misbegotten life?" And so now we're going to find out that he escaped by staying in the astral plane and was able to use Karma's power, reverse it, and possess her. And so that is essentially what has happened. And so now Illyana comes in and agrees to join her, and says, "Hey, come here," and then holds her. And of course, Ileana saying, "You're hurting me. You never had any intention of an alliance. It was a trap." And she lets go of everybody so she can concentrate on Ileana. And so suddenly, one by one, they all start to disappear. Wolfsbane, Mirage, Storm, Magma, and look at the drooling here. Cypher, and it turns out that this was, and then Sunspot, turns out that this was Warlock. And of course, Manbat's like, "I've been tricked." And so I do apologize. I normally try to read with you these comic books, but Chris Claremont, who is one of my favorites, which is why I'm covering New Mutants and I cover X-Men, is very wordy. So I just I these videos would take me like 40 minutes if I had to read everything. So all right, Storm's like, "Your hold over us has been broken, Amal Farouk. The truth has been revealed. Your day is done." So off they go the New Mutants to fight Karma. And Karma possesses, you can see here by this, has possessed Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane bites Warlock here. And so she's going to make another Psy thing to see if they can scare him. And so a view of Vietnam. This one actually scares Shan and gets Farouk off her, and realizes, "Oh my God, what's happened to me? Look at what's this body." And if you remember, Karma wasn't like this, and all the New Mutants gathered. But of course, he's suspicious. Like, how do we know he's really out? He could be anyone here. And Rain is taken out suddenly. Sorry, our suspicions have just been confirmed. Farouk is masquerading as one of us. He struck down the child because he feared her wolfen sense might detect them. Not him, Ororo, you. Farouk's hate for you was special. It was you he most enjoyed possessing. You're the one he'd most reluctant go to. There's a power to my soul sword I've never revealed. If I put everything I have into it, my magic blade can kill. Surprise, Doug. And he's like, "Ileana, no, not me, please." And he's like, "Oh, you really faked me out." And of course, they realize, now, that was careless, Farouk. The sword can't hurt real people. Doug knows that. Of course, Farouk's such a bully, it makes sense he'd attack the weakest New Mutant. I love how they just say that here. He loves corrupting people. Doug's a nice kid, a prime target. And because his power is so weak, none of us would have thought anything amiss. After we returned home, Doug resigned from the team school. And so it turns out he really is. A perfect escape, and it very nearly succeeded. But now that you know the truth, what can you do? Here I am, and here I'll stay. Only the death of my host can truly defeat me. Precisely as she's going to try to actually kill him. And so they stop him. And Karma and Farouk are going to have their fight, of course. So now we're going to have a fight between the two of them for who is going to reign supreme. Chris Claremont adds a lot of words, but we're just going to skip it and show that Karma breaks free and takes on Farouk and sends him back into the astral plane. But now we're back to reality, and she's like, "Just let me die here in the with this." But the New Mutants refuse to let her go, and off they go. They save her, and so it ends here. Thanks, Ileana. Anytime, Douglas. That's some fire too. Too bad Baruch isn't burning along with his club. And he'll turn up again, Danny. And when we find him, we're toward her home. And she says, "No, Sam, not quite yet. You have all earned a rest, and I know the perfect place. An island in the Aegean called Kyrinos. There, for a time, you can be happy." And so, to be continued in New Mutant Special Edition #1. And then the next issue, the times they are a changing. So, New Mutants number 34 by Chris Claremont and Steve Lealoha. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.